I'm toxic and jealous, please help. I, 28F, got into a new relationship, 27 meters, with a guy I've known my entire life. We've only been officially dating a couple weeks, but I want to solve this before my toxicity ruins it. I've always been a jealous and possessive girlfriend. I don't know why. I feel very confident and happy. I always get these thoughts that people, I get these thoughts with friends too, are going to betray me. I have a massive fear of being cheated on. I've never been cheated on. Like I said, I've known this guy since elementary school. Trust him. I know he's a good guy. Last night he was hanging out with a group of friends and snapped me 2 photos with his female friends in the pictures. I also know these females, maybe not very well, but I don't think they have bad intentions. Yet I still got annoyed. Yet I still struggled with obsessive thoughts. I don't want to be this way. I want to encourage friendships. I've never really been able to have platonic male friendships because they always end up wanting more from me. I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. Does anybody have advice for me? I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't understand why it hurts me because I can logically rationalize, yet it's like my emotional side is a completely different person inside of me. I'm sure I could use some counseling, although I don't really have the money for that at the moment. I just want to be an emotionally stable, good, supportive girlfriend. I don't think there's anything wrong with male/female friendship, but in the back of my mind it's telling me there is. I don't like it when emotions are stronger than logic. I greatly appreciate anybody's kind words or advice. I'm at a loss here. Thank you. TDLR, I'm jealous and I hate it. I want my boyfriend to have female friends and be happy for him. It sounds like you're paralyzed by what ifs. Being betrayed or hurt sucks. Sucks very bad at the time. But it's not the end of the world and it won't destroy you if you don't let it. Even if he did cheat on you and you guys broke up, life will go on and you would find other, better, guys to date. You don't have to cling so tight in an effort to protect yourself. You can't control what other people do, but you can trust in your own strength and value. And know that you are tough enough to let go of some control and still be alright no matter what happens. ETA Another comment reminded me of something else I wanted to say. In general, our worst traits are our best traits turned up too high. You care. You care so fucking much. And you want your relationships, platonic and otherwise, to be meaningful and successful and lifelong. That isn't wrong. But, like I said above, that will not always work out and you shouldn't burn yourself or others into ash trying to make it true. Some relationships are short and some end poorly, but that doesn't mean they can't be meaningful or important in their time. Appreciate what you have and don't try and drag a good memory into something destructive. Thank you. Blue Heart. What ifs have always been something I've obsessed about. Whether it be being cheated on, my loved ones dying, my car breaking down, failing a test, being late, etc. You feel confident and happy, but I suspect you feel these externally. My ex believed she was confident, happy, attractive, yet she was horribly, destructively jealous. She was even jealous and insecure when my sisters would text me. The issue started to be resolved when she realized that she actually didn't have her own self-confidence or self-love. She was so accustomed to other people hyping her up, because she is gorgeous and brilliant and fun, yet she didn't know how to do that for herself. So anytime she wasn't the center of my attention, like if I hung out with even a guy friend, she would become jealous and insecure. Once we realized this, she started to address these feelings of jealousy by reassuring herself. She'd think I'm feeling jealous, but there's no reason for it, it's my own insecurity. She would then say affirmations to herself such as I am enough. I am happy. I'm glad. Throw away for RLTNSHPs hanging out with friends. She'd even say things like I love myself. I am confident. Throw away for RLTNSHP loves me. I am so happy. Doing these each time she experienced jealousy started to turn the tables very quickly, to where she was even happy if she saw a girl checking me out, which formerly would have triggered an apocalyptic fight, because how dare I receive attention from a girl I don't even know exists. I think you are on a good track because you have recognized the issue and you are determined to overcome it. The more you show yourself that nothing external defines the way you feel, the easier it will be. Edit. Thanks for the silver my boat today. I fucked up a benefactor, whoever you are. I've been going through a similar experience for the past 6-ish years with my partner. Self-work has been the answer for me. It helps that my partner is also really into becoming the best version of himself he can be. I have weekly therapy, realized that I'm actually not happy inside. I was just masking my darkness because I couldn't face it yet. Therapy is amazing, you do have breakthroughs, but it's hard. It's the darkest just before you heal. I meditate every day and practice self-love and gratitude. If I love myself, I can feel that I'm also worthy of love. I can then trust that my partner, friends and family will not betray me. I exercise. Endorphins, and you start to feel and look better. For free, I put in effort to look nice/cute/sexy/professional per occasion. If I feel good, look good, I'm less insecure/jealous. Too long didn't read. Become someone that you want to spend time with. EXO. You can do it. I love spending time with myself. I think I'm pretty rad, to be honest. I have trust issues and I always think people are out to hurt me. Not sure why. I mean, I had a shitty dad and some really abusive relationships in the past, that's probably why, lol. If your BF wanted to cheat on you, you being jealous would not prevent it. And the end of the day, all you can do is choose a good partner and be a good partner. You have no idea how many times I wanted to give my ex this exact argument. Look, if I wanted to cheat, I would, and I for sure would not leave evidence on my phone that you keep looking through. I would never cheat, just found the logic of her preventative actions questionable at best. I have found the most useful thing to be brutal honesty with myself. Yes, your boyfriend could cheat. Yes, he could leave you for someone else. Yes, that would absolutely suck and be horrible. Really take some time to think about it and visualize it. Look at your worst fears straight on, rather than letting them lurk in the shadows. Then consider, if he is a cheater, do you want him? If he is truly happier with someone else, do you want him? Would you want to be with someone who actually wants to be with someone else, or who is deeply dishonest? So the only thing to do is show up and be fucking awesome. Be the partner you know anyone would be lucky to have, in a real and authentic to you way, of course. Look at him with clear and open eyes. Leave the good, notice the ways he shows up for you. Also notice any bad that's there, or anything that genuinely feels off. Learn to look at triggering moments objectively. It'll never be perfect, but it is a skill you can work on. And again, above all, make yourself into the person you want to be. That way, if he or anyone else ever doesn't value you, you will value yourself. You will know you deserve better. You will be okay. My 27F family are angry at me for wanting to hire a different nanny instead of continuing to use my sister, 34F. I found out I was pregnant after my ex, Luca, and I had already broken up. I was living with my sister at the time and she offered to watch my son whilst I went to work at a discounted rate. She used to be a nanny. At first, it worked out really well, but she gradually started increasing the price as time went by. She also started charging me more rent despite my son and I only occupying one room, whilst her husband and her 2 children had 3 rooms between them. Whenever I would complain about how I was eating into my savings paying for childcare and was going to find a job where I could work from home, she kept insisting I should just make Luca pay more child support or ask his parents for the money. To his credit, Luca was already paying more than he legally had to and had already increased it twice to try and mitigate the rising childcare costs. Things got messy when he was visiting our son and my sister kept calling him a deadbeat. The next time he was supposed to visit, he asked me to bring our son to his house instead because he wanted to talk privately without her. He showed me the market rate of a nanny in our area to prove she was massively overcharging me. He also showed me the rent price of houses in my area to prove I was likely paying more than half of the rent, despite only using a quarter of the rooms. We had already started dating again by this point too. So he suggested I move in with him because the schools in his area are much better than where I was living also. I gave my sister 2 months warning that I was going to move out. This already caused a huge stir in my family and they kept insisting moving in with Luca was a mistake even though he wouldn't ask me for money every single time I asked him if he could watch our son for 5 seconds, but since we kept using my sister as a nanny temporarily, they didn't complain too much. Then the lockdown started and both me and Luca were working from home, My hours were also cut a lot, so we didn't really need my sister to watch our son anymore. The problem is now Luca has to start traveling again for business, which means he won't be here as often to help me watch our son, and my hours are increasing again. We've started looking for another nanny but haven't had much luck yet. The topic came up whilst I was Skyping my mum and she suggested I just ask my sister again. When I told her I didn't want to, she gave me a long lecture about why I should. She also said I was the reason my sister had to move into a smaller place and what I did was very selfish. I ended up hanging up on her, but my parents have both been calling and texting me non-stop about this. I think Luca is pulling me away from my family so he can manipulate me, and that he made all of that stuff about overcharging me up so he could get out of paying child support. They've also brought up our breakup and keep using that as a reason I shouldn't stay with him because he hasn't really changed. They also bring up his parents a lot and say my son is going to turn out like them if I'm not careful. They think they're snobby. They're also threatening to not speak to me unless I rehire my sister. My sister has also called me crying about how she's been really struggling since I left and she's guilting me for robbing her of time with her nephew. I really don't know what to do now. I feel really guilty, but at the same time I know Luca won't budge on rehiring her even if I suggest it. What do I do now? Too long didn't read. My sister massively overcharged me for both childcare and rent. Need a nanny again and my family want me to use her, but I would rather get a different nanny. Your sister was financially exploiting you, and when you realized it and took steps to get out from under her, your entire family started complaining that when your sister isn't overcharging you for rent and childcare, she can't support herself. Sounds like you're doing fine and your sister is a big problem. Seems like your sister and bro-in-law were living above their means and using you to fill the gap in their finances. When you moved out they had to go live somewhere within their means and went whining to your mother about it. Serves them right for using you. If you have to use your sister again, give her the proof of the going rate for a nanny, draw up a contract with what you will pay her and make sure you both sign it in front of a witness. If she won't sign, then you know she wants to exploit you again. It sounds like your family likes to use you and keep you under their thumb, and the real reason they don't like Luca is because he's opening your eyes to them. Just shut down any conversation about your sister doing anything for you. Tell them, I said no. Then change the subject. Hang up if they don't stop. They'll either learn, or you'll have to start putting them in timeouts where you don't speak to them for a few weeks or months. Your sister did you dirty. Just saying. It isn't your fault she's financially struggling, you gave her more than enough notice. Find a different nanny. Maybe if she didn't overcharge you she could be considered again. Do what's best for you. My sister nannied for my other siblings and I saw the drama that came with it. Maybe it's time to start calling Bill a deadbeat. After all, he and his wife were not able to support themselves or their family without cheating up and squeezing her for as much money as possible. Your sister took you for a financial ride and your parents backing her up on that disgusts me. Stick to your guns and tell your family, she burned that bridge when she overcharged me on everything. That was not her helping me, that was her using me. I'm choosing my own nanny, this discussion is over. And if they don't drop it, you hang up. Every time they bring it up, become a broken record and then hang up the phone. That's the best thing you can do for yourself and your son. They may be family, but your sister has already tried sucking you dry once and I have no doubt she wouldn't hesitate to do it again. Your sister basically stole from you. She took advantage of your love and trust in her to take your money. If you had gone and found a place to rent on your own, you would have shopped around to find a good rate. If you had looked around for a nanny earlier, you would have found someone trustworthy and affordable. But you didn't go looking because you trusted her, like you should be able to do with family. And she used that against you. Fuck her for that. That's so fucking low. Can you imagine doing the same to her? My 27F best friend, 27F, wants to ask my ex, 28M, out. How do I tell her he regularly says bad things about her without hurting her feelings? I've known Emily as long as I can remember and we're very close. I have an ex who I'll call Julian, who I share a son with. Julian and I broke up because he thought Emily was too involved in my life and he claimed she was holding me back. I disagreed and eventually, it caused a massive fight and we split up. About 3 years ago, Julian asked me to stay with him so we could both be with our son during the lockdown. Emily and I lived together, and I didn't want to leave her alone, so he reluctantly agreed to let her move in with him too temporarily. The thing about Julian is that he's very good at pretending to like someone even if he doesn't. So, Emily never knew he didn't like her. And I didn't tell her because I didn't want her to blame herself for the breakup. I probably should have though, because Emily came to me yesterday and confessed she had always had a crush on Julian, and since I was over him, she wanted to ask him out but thought she should warn me first. I'm not really that shocked since she has been flirty with him since we've been staying here. I told her she should probably wait until the second lockdown ended in case he didn't feel the same way about her, and she got angry with me and told me I was just bitter he broke up with me. Problem is Julian still dislikes her. He makes a lot of not very nice comments whenever she's out of earshot and gives me a lot of grief for blackmailing him into letting her stay in his house. I don't want to come across as a jealous ex or like I'm just saying these things to be spiteful, especially since I don't know if he'll deny it if confronted or not. So Reddit, please help me figure out how to tell her without 1. hurting her feelings and 2. not sounding jealous/spiteful. Too long didn't read. My ex and I broke up because he wanted my best friend out of our lives. All 3 of us are living together during the lockdown and my best friend has developed feelings for him and wants to ask him out. How do I tell her he still makes rude comments about her?